Greetings all. Welcome to Combe TV. Evening, Max. I thought I'd surprise you by bringing you straight on from the get-go that
Yeah,
time.
I wasn't ready, but here I am.
I just decided at the last minute, why not? It'll be funny.
Keep me on my
Apologies, I've
toes.
been having problems with the broadcast into Facebook, so it wasn't broadcast into the Combe Circuit Facebook page, but I think we've got it working now, but it's a different link, so I've just been on and shared it. So hopefully we'll get away with that one. I don't know what the problem is there. But
No
how have you
idea.
been, Max? Busy time now, the year's in full flow.
It is. It's probably one of the busiest times of the year at the circuit. I think over the next month there's about one day where the circuit's not in use. That's a Sunday towards the end of next month. So yeah, other than that, it's pretty much every day, and that's the big events, our car track days, our bike track days, experience days, and then all the different private hire that happens as well. So yeah, it keeps it interesting because there's something different happening on the circuit every day, which is always nice.
Yeah, and I mean, in fairness, it's about remembering that it's not just how much work goes in on the days themselves. It's you and the team have to do so much in the lead up, both to promote it in the first place and then to organise it, and then there's the day itself.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, particularly with the big events. There's kind of November through to February is where a lot of the planning and work goes into those. And once we actually announce those events and start selling tickets or passes or whatever it is to them, everything's kind of set and sorted by then. So yeah, I always feel that as we're getting towards the end of the season, I look forward to a bit of downtime, but it always ends up being that it's almost just as busy in the off season as it is this time of year.
Yeah, I've always seen that with you because obviously we chat throughout the year as well, various bits and pieces, and it's like trying to plan the next year, and it's terrifically exciting. And what a cool Combe TV this time that we're actually previewing a race day and JDM Combe, one of the biggest action
Yeah.
days of the year.
Yeah, we've got a packed week coming up. We've got the race day on the bank holiday Monday, and then the JDM Combe Action Day on the Saturday. So yeah, not a lot of time in between. And yeah, there'll be there's sort of track days and other stuff going on during the rest of the week as well. So yeah, it's going to be a busy week, but yeah, plenty going on, which is nice.
Exactly right. Evening to everybody that's watching. We've got some of the comments coming in. Evening says Caroline Sutton, and she confirms it is working on Facebook. So evening to you, Caroline. Great to hear you. One of our coordinators now, of course, which is lovely to see that one. David Campion from the Wiltshire College. Great to hear from you, mate. I think you normally come in quite late because you forget that it's on. So it's good to hear from you a little bit earlier. Sam Preston says, oi, oi, who are these two good-looking chaps? I don't know what he's watching, Sam.
Well, it's probably me in the picture behind, maybe.
Of course it will be. You and the picture. That's it. Yeah. Good old Sam Preston from our very own team as well. Emma Mason. Hi, Emma. Hope you're well. I don't know what does it say? Emma, we're down at Costco getting supplies. Good hours for the weekend, I suppose, because you guys will be busy.
They do love a good Costco trip.
I had to get rid of that because I went in for a few things and I'd come up with a canoe and a blow-up gazebo. I don't know, all sorts of things. And spend a fortune. Ben Hayward, evening, folks. You racing this weekend, Ben? That'd be interesting to see. I'm going to just quickly press a switch because there's a new thing on this and I'm interested to see. Right, I'll put that on. We got show comments on stage. I might not keep that up because it blocks you slightly. So we'll see how that works, but who knows? Keep the comments coming in. Keep the questions. But the big one is we love the action days, Max, but not as many as some other people that are quite obsessed with cars, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. The action days have become some of, if not the biggest events at the circuit. And yeah, I mean, for anyone that isn't familiar with them already, that it's essentially over 1,000 cars on display all around the paddock and the rest of the areas around the circuit. Those cars will be going out on track during the day, so it's a bit of a I guess in essence a live car show, but we put loads of other stuff on. We have drifting, we have other track displays, we have a big trade village, loads of awards and competitions. It's for a car enthusiast, particularly a modified car enthusiast, it's a bit of heaven, I think.
Well, we've got a brilliant guest that I'm going to bring out now that certainly falls into that obsessed with cars. There's no question. I've come across this guy a fair few times. I've interviewed him. I think it was at the Autumn Classic actually last year as well. He's just nodded confirmation. Thanks, Adam. I got a few words on the mic with him. We've been at some of the same events and things like that. And it is someone that reports and keeps everybody up to date. Let's bring out our special guest who's going to be at JDM. It's Adam C.
Oh, hello.
Let's change the order. Hello, Adam. You all right, mate?
So I feel like I need to explain why I'm in a car. I'm in Belgium at the moment. I'm not actually driving. We're heading back from Spa. It's been a busy, as you said at the start of the podcast. It's a busy period for me as well.
It really is. So, what have you been doing at Spa?
So it's quite insane. Basically there was a Pagani track day and testing for the Spa Classic, which is coming up, and that was all today. So we decided that we wanted to go see that. So in total, it's 12 hours of driving. All in the same day. I think we spent 6 hours there. So 6 hours to get there, 6 hours walking around, seeing the cars, and 6 hours driving back.
You've just backed up my point that you're obsessed with cars then there, haven't you? Right there.
Yeah. I mean, it's been hectic. Like last night, I was at a car meet last night, and then before that, we were at the Goodwood Motor Circuit as well. So yesterday was quite busy, and Caffeine Machine in between the two as well. So that was three things yesterday as well.
For those of you who maybe haven't caught up, because obviously on this show we get a mix of those that are into the action days, those that are into the race days. You're obviously, is it right to call you a YouTuber? I never know whether that oversimplifies it these days.
No, I don't mind YouTube because it gets straight to the point. That is kind of my main platform. And the term like influencer and even like content creator, they always have like negative connotations. And I don't like it when, like, you know, your average Joe asks me like, oh, I'm one of those YouTube people, and it's there's never a clear cut. It's not like I can say, oh, I'm an accountant, because that would be far easier. So no, YouTube is fine.
Although I've heard that there's women that have OnlyFans account call themselves accountants, but that's a different story altogether. You're not one of those. You don't have an OnlyFans
We're going
account.
off topic now.
Yeah,
I do not. No.
I always do, Max.
I haven't reserved the Adam D domain yet.
No, yeah, well. I mean, in reality, so what it is that and I'm going to move on to where it all came from. You're obsessed with cars. You bring people to. You're kind of bringing people to the shows to see people's pride and joys at these events and things like that. But what people possibly don't appreciate, and they're kind of seeing an insight now, is you work incredibly hard to bring everybody that content, don't you?
I mean, it doesn't feel like hard work. I don't feel like I deserve to call it hard because it's always enjoyable. But there's a lot of it. So like every single weekend throughout the whole year, there's always something on. And then during the week, I'm either spending time editing or finding days like today to do some bonus content as well. So I think during the year, I go to about 120 different car shows and car meets throughout a year. And each year I try and I improve on that. So if I'm not doing something to do with cars, then I feel like I'm just wasting my time. But yeah, it started as a hobby, and now it's grown into what I do now.
And what I really appreciated, it was out of the blue. It was earlier this year. I was hosting on the mic the season opener for the Supercar Driver Club at Donington Park.
Yeah.
And I caught up with Chiro there. He came up and joined me in the commentary box for a little bit during that day. And it was too late. I didn't see you till it was too late. I was leaving, and you were even getting the cars leaving the show as well. So you don't just do the glamour positions. You will work hard to get that content from wherever you can or need to.
Yeah, and I think, if I remember correctly, I think I drove up. I was doing something can't remember what I was doing, and then I drove up to Donington to film the cars leaving, and then I drove back home to another car meet, which is the same one that I was at yesterday, to film that show afterwards. So, and Donington's about 3 hours away, so it's quite a bit of driving that day.
That's incredible. Fair shout to you. Well, a bit of a question then. Where did this love for cars come from?
I don't think there's ever like a single answer for that. It's just a combination of like sometimes you just kind of you grow up and you start magnetizing towards things. Like my dad always likes cars from as long as I can remember. So obviously I could say there's influence from my dad. He used to have a TVR. We used to go to car shows together, but he was never like as obsessed as I am with cars and going to car shows. But for my entire life, it's always been cars that I was obsessed with. And then I think there was a small point in my life that I thought, well, maybe I need to develop new hobbies. And I was starting to think about maybe liking music and architecture and stuff. But cars has always been the constant in my life.
I've got to put it up because, by the way, I know people are putting comments in, and I will come to that at the right time. But Goose, one of our Quarry Hardcore, said, "One hell of a job," and that's why I wanted to make sure we talked about how hard you have to work, because to a lot of people, of course, it's going to be cool. You're around some amazing cars, some amazing people, some amazing events, but it is incredibly hard work, not just at the events, but as you alluded to, all the editing work that's got to come afterwards. So there's got to be that love. So that's there. What do you have right now as cars?
So I've got what in my like collection of cars myself.
Yeah.
I've got 6.5 cars, which so like one of my cars I part own with a friend of mine who also often co-hosts Castle Combe events with me, and that's Sam Hard from the Hard Up Garage. So he called me up earlier in the winter and said, "Hey, I've just been offered this Max Power Toyota Yaris." And if you know Max Power, you know exactly what I mean by that. But yeah, like properly the most modified, like visually car out there. And it's a bright pink Toyota Yaris T-Sport that has survived through this Max Power period from the noughties up to now. And we are trying to savor it. So that's a bit of a quirky one. And then the others, I've got my first car, which is my MGB 1972. That I bought that and drove it around. I didn't want like car, so that was my MGB parked on the side of the street outside uni. Then I've got my 350Z, which is a convertible, but it's broken, so it doesn't convert. That's kind of my daily driver. I've done like over 50,000 miles in that, in my 350Z. It gets 30 mpg. It's good. It's got heated seats, cruise control. And I've got my Toyota Chaser, which is like, it's a bit of a flagship. That's the one that people identify my channel with. Which is a JDM Japanese import, and I've just had that resprayed in a pearl white. What else is there? There is my Renault Twingo. So as a kid, my guilty pleasure to my dad's expense was the Mark I Renault Twingo. Whenever we'd come to Belgium, which is where I am now, or France, I'd always spot as many Twingos as possible because we didn't get the Mark I Twingo in the UK. And so last year I found one that had been imported. It needs restoration. We haven't started. We've got that Twingo, and then the garage collection, which is my Dodge Viper GTS, which I got last year, and then my favorite car of all of them, which is my AC Cobra, which is actually a Dax Sugero, so British built recreation of the Cobra. That is always my favorite car to drive, to look at, to own, everything. So I think that's all of them. Yeah.
That sounds like a good old mix. Is there any that you regret getting rid of?
So I'm not very good, as you can probably tell, I'm not very good at getting rid of cars.
I did wonder.
So I had a Mazda RX-8, which was meant to be just a temporary car whilst I restored my MGB. Oh, sorry, my phone. There we go. And the RX-8, I had it for a summer. It drank a lot of oil, as they always do. And then I was driving to a show, the clutch started slipping, and so I put a for sale sign on the windscreen and sold it at a car show for like 400 quid. And now that lives apparently in Poland with a Supra engine with a 2JZ. So I don't regret that because it was costing me a lot of oil money, and then the clutch and everything, and yeah, but that was a good bit of fun. And then the only other car I got rid of was I had a TVR 350i, which is like, you know, the wedge shaped TVRs. I took that down to Monaco and back, and it made it there and back, just proving that they don't always break down. I do miss that car. I part exchanged it for the Cobra, so I sacrificed that for the dream car, so I don't really regret that. And now it's somewhere in Kent with the engine out because they were going to rebuild it, and now it's a halted project, so I don't know what's happened with that car. But they're the only two cars I've ever got rid of, so no regrets yet.
I do love that. Do you have anything on the radar, and do you have a dream car?
This is a difficult one because the Cobra was always the dream car, and then having a blue and white Dodge Viper was like the secondary dream. Like, oh, that would complete it. Having those two cars in my own garage, that was always like the ultimate dream. And now I've got that. I don't know. That was always the goal, and now I'm there. I don't have a next. I'd love to have, like, you know, your standard like big house with a 6-car garage and loads of. But I've got no immediate plans. I wouldn't mind another TVR, but I've got no more garage space, so it'd have to be one that lives outside. So it'd be not a good condition one. But I don't think my channel really cares about TVRs. So what I should do is buy like an Evo or something Japanese that probably leeways us neatly into JDM Combe, because a lot of my audience prefer the JDM, the Japanese scene. And I think if I got like a Nissan Pulsar GTIR or an Evo or something along those lines, like a 10 to 20,000 pounds range, I'd probably have to sell the Nissan for it. But then I don't know what I'd sell for it. That's the trouble. So it's a weird situation. I don't really know. It's the answer.
I mean, I like that. That's an interesting, honest answer. So fair shout.
Yeah.
That's a really good one. Just quickly, Justin Holloway, one of our racers, he said, love a Cobra rep, built a Southern Roadcraft version in the late 80s. That sounds pretty darn good. Jamie Symonds says, absolutely love Adam C. Would give everything up to do what he does. And I know I've spoken to you, is that you know you're living a lot of people's dreams as well.
Yeah.
You acknowledge that, and you're really humble and appreciative of that. Goose from our Corey Hard says, buy a Scooby. He says, you got to buy a Subaru.
All I hear is horror stories about their engines, and I've had an RX-8, so I've kind of ticked off horror story. They're not as bad as RX-8s, I know that, but I don't think. I think I would be Team Evo just because I don't hear as many. I might be wrong. Maybe they're just as bad, but I don't know. But watch this space, maybe.
Yeah, I think Goose has got a Scooby now, and I think he had an RX-8 before that as well. But yeah,
they never learn.
Right, no, exactly. Goose doesn't. Right. You mentioned the whole Japanese car side of things and leading us into JDM. What is it that people love so much about the Japanese car culture?
Well, I know what the answer used to be, because when I started my channel out, I was like, you know, your typical car spotter. I would film supercars like I have done today, actually. And then like car spotting was always supercars, but no one was doing the modified scene, the Japanese scene. And I had a friend of mine who was into the Japanese scene, and he kind of got me into it. And I realized that gap in the market. But back then, the Japanese cars, this modified scene, they were the more attainable car, but there was also a dream connected to them, because like people grow up watching Fast and Furious, for example, and then they'd want, like, oh, I really want like a Skyline or an Evo, and it was more attainable than your traditional Lamborghini, Aston Martin, etc. But in recent years, the market's flipped, and now to get an Aston Martin and a Lamborghini Ferrari is cheaper than buying a lot of these JDM Japanese cars. But I think that's where it stems from, and now it's still got that passion. And it's still growing. You're seeing a lot of the modified scene mixing with your classic car auctions. You can see a lot of like Skylines and stuff in there. Supercar shows, they're accepting a lot of GTR Skyline. I know I say Skyline a lot. I mean, the R34 GTR is the best example of this. But I think that's what's happened, and that's why there's such passion with these cars.
Which is of no surprise there for Max, why JDM Action Day is such a busy one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always stayed as a staple on the calendar. For this year, it's the only sort of specific action day that we have, as we're not running like a German day or a mini action day as we have done in the past. But yeah, there's always been a massive demand for the JDM show and the JDM cars. So yeah, I don't think it's one that's going to go anywhere for quite a while.
Yeah.
I think you're right, and I think you keep stoking that one. By the way, Adam, to back up your comment on the Scooby, Goose also confirms, yeah, he's had 2 engine rebuilds.
I don't think I could be bothered with that.
No, exactly. So you're safe on that one. Now, what do you ignore the JDM this year? Because we'll come on to that in a second. But what typically at an action day or something like that does your day look like when you rock up? And I know you've bought cars to Castle Combe in the past as well. But what does a day look like to you?
So I mean, as a typical action day, sometimes I get there early just to see some of the cars like rolling through, like some of the cars rolling in, because it's great to see them in their natural environment. And then often I'd obviously put my car on display. I used to be very keen about wiping my cars down and making them as presentable as possible, but I've since learned that I can't do that. I don't really do that as much anymore, because people don't really care about the odd bug mark, and even things like stone chips. It shows that it gets driven, because I do drive my cars everywhere I go. And then it's just a mixture of walking around and looking for what's brilliant about like the Japanese shows, the modified shows, is the unique builds that people present, the differences in their cars and the modifications. And I look for the quirky stuff, the funny stuff, the weird stuff, the things that catch my eye. And I kind of run around with a camera, speak to anyone that bumps into me whilst I'm doing so, and capture that. And then at the action days, of course, I've got to go down to Quarry Corner and watch some of the public track time and some of the drifting as well, because that's always, I think that's what makes these shows so unique, because it's not just a static show. There is that corner that you can. I always forget to bring a chair though, so remind me. I need to bring a chair on the Saturday, because I'm always standing up thinking, I wish I'd brought my chair along.
Yeah, you do. Although, Max, I'd imagine they sell them in the shop, don't they?
Oh yeah, I'm sure they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. They'll sell them in the shop, Adam, if you forget one, so you're fine.
Yeah.
Just quickly, Ben Hayward says his 2002 Civic Type R was amazing. It's now owned by Gary Preble, who's actually the driver that's got the most wins at Castle Combe, and he now used it for circuit tuition. Here's a new one on you. I now have 135 brake horsepower VW Up, which is nuts. And I think that kind of falls into your Twingo element, doesn't it? It's a crazy car, a little car, but 135 out of that. That's incredible.
Yeah. Well, my little Twingo is only probably, I think they're about 50 or 60 horsepower. But I have taken it, I've done a quarter-mile drag race in it. I raced it against Europe's fastest Lamborghini, twin-turbo Huracan, but I did get a little bit of a head start. I think it was like a 12-second head start, and yeah. And I've done burnouts in it at my show as well, so it's good. It does well. I've done some rally stage driving in it. It's good. It's not road legal though, so we haven't put it on the road yet. One day.
Okay, got you. Fair enough. That's interesting. JDM Combe then. So a week on Saturday. I believe that you've actually even got a stand there this time. Is that right?
Yes. So we had this great idea that I'm so excited about, based on what I do. So every year I host my own show towards the start of the season. I did that a few weeks ago, and with my show I kind of have a hand-picked section of the show where I'm like, okay, a top 25, and I choose these are the cars that are parked like with me at the show, and I create like the most varied section of cars that kind of mean the most to me and show the most variety. And we're basically mirroring that with JDM Combe. So I think we had 10 spaces, and we asked people to send their pictures of their car and information of their car to the Castle Combe inbox, and I asked them to send them to my inbox. And I chose the first 8, and then I did a poll on my Instagram so everyone else, like my audience, could select the final 2. So it's like everyone gets to say on what cars they want to see on that stand. So there's going to be my car and then 10 others that have been like curated and hand selected around it right in the center of the stand. So I think that's a great feature, and I can't wait to see it.
That sounds really cool. Do you know where that's going to be, or is that a question for Max?
That probably is. Yeah, I haven't been told specifically, but I'm imagining it's near the trade section, near the shop, near that zone.
Yeah,
Max,
it'll
the
be
pressure on you now.
down the front, opposite the Strawford Centre and the pit lane. So
Yeah.
right down the front of the paddock.
Oh, fabulous! Yeah, prime position, that one then, and I like that. So it's a variety, and it's not just. I'm going to say this in the not in the way that it's meant, but what some people may think of. It's not just Adam C bringing his mates. It's like you've literally curated this from cars that have been submitted, and you've gone, that stands out at me, and then 2 of them that were picked by your audience.
Yeah, and it's been great because like some emails are just like, oh, here's my what. In fact, no, none of the emails are like, oh, here's a picture of my Skyline to apply. It's literally people write paragraphs and the entire spec of their car, and it shows so much passion, and it makes you realise like it's so easy to, because there's hundreds or thousands of cars at the show, and it's so easy to walk past all of them and just think, oh, that's nice, and look at all of them as a whole, but you don't realise until you see them. Because you like that, how much passion goes into each car, and I feel bad not selecting each car. So I was glad that at least of the ones that I didn't choose, I could still post them on my story, so they have a chance of getting the stand, so my audience can choose the final 2.
I do like that. That is seriously cool. And obviously you'll be there, and people will be able to come up and chat to you as well if it's on your stand, in effect. So that's a nice head.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Anything I haven't asked, Max?
I don't think so. I guess there's just a couple other bits that are going on at JDM that I'd add to as well. So in addition to the Adam C stand, the circuit's also going to be hosting a special JDM stand where we're looking for anything kind of unique, different, and a bit unusual in the JDM market. So yeah, we've got a mix of a few sort of mini sort of K cars and that kind of thing. Hopefully some classic cars, a few more kit cars, more race focused cars. So it should show all the different types of vehicles that you get within a JDM event. And then we've also got a special track display which is happening at this event for the first time. So anyone that's been to an action day before will obviously be familiar with the public track time and the drifting sessions and the parade laps. Something brand new for JDM is going to be a race and track car session. So the circuit has reached out to our audience, and we've selected a group of 20 drivers that have either a race car or a solely track built car. So they'll be on display in the paddock. I think it'll be sort of in the same area down the front of the paddock. So that's kind of where all the special displays are going to be. But as well as being on display, they're going to be out on track 3 times a day. So the way that it'll work is they'll go out just before the drifters. So they'll do a 20-minute demonstration of basically hammering around Combe at full speed. Then the drifters will come out and do their thing. So we'll be doing that 3 times over the day as well, which will be quite exciting because it's something completely new for the action days, which is nice.
I love that. And Adam, it must be great for you to see that the circuit just don't stand still with these events. It's not just a cliche car event. It is adding more and more all the time.
Yeah, I've had the added benefit in previous action days to hop in one of the drift cars and experience that, or like take my car around on the parade as well, so people can. Well, I like it because I get sent loads of pictures of my car on the track, and I can pretend, yeah, that was me driving around Castle Combe, even though I'm just on the parade. But it's a nice backdrop as well.
Yeah, it still counts.
Exactly, yeah. It does count. And that's an important thing, is that there is the ability for people to take their cars out at these steady paces instead. I'm impressed though, Adam. You went out as a passenger in one of the drift cars. They keep trying to convince me to do that, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, I've been in a few before, and maybe I trust the safety of a car more than I should, because I don't really get afraid. I'm just like, this is great. It was I think it was a Mark 1 Golf on an MX-5 chassis with like an MX-5 engine and a turbo. So it was like short wheelbase. It looked weird, a Golf doing that, but it was a unique experience for sure.
Wow, I love that one. Listen, Adam, Max and I will just talk some more about JDM to make sure people know everything about it. But is there anything else you want to tell anyone, Adam, that I haven't already asked you?
Well, I don't know if people care, but I do plan on bringing my Chaser, because I've got 2 Japanese cars. I've got the 350Z, which I'll be honest, no one really cares about seeing. It's just a bright yellow wrapped roadster that I've had for almost 7 years now. And then my Toyota Chaser, I've just resprayed it, and it's only been at one show so far since the respray. And that is a true JDM, Japanese domestic market car. So that's the one I hope to bring. So if you look for a pearl white Chaser, that's where I'll be. That's where my section will be. If not, I'll probably be wearing some loud T-shirt, running around with a camera and speaking to fans.
I do love your loud shirts, mate. They're brilliant. I do love them. They're wicked. Listen, Adam C, massive appreciation. I know that there was a sudden mix-up and that you were going to be doing this journey, but you didn't hesitate. You never even suggested you couldn't make it. You put the effort in. Thank you so much for joining us live this evening. The crew will look forward to seeing you there, and everybody at JDM Combe, have a safe rest of the journey back from Belgium.
Thank you very much. I'll see you in a few days.
All the best, mate. Take it steady.
Lovely. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, that was a nice amuse bouche there, Max, for JDM Combe, which is a week on Saturday, isn't it? 31st of May.
Yeah, not long now.
Admission-wise, they can still buy advanced.
Yeah, so you can still get advance tickets on the website up until the day before the event. We also still have our Paddock Club hospitality available. I think the only thing at the minute that isn't available is display space, as I think that's now closed. But yeah, everything else you can still get in advance. There's loads of information on the website about the event as well. So the team have been working hard to get plenty of news stories and info about it. So if you head to the news section of the website, you can find details on all of the traders that will be there, all the different club stands. There's a breakdown of all the different drifters that will be taking part in the drift sessions. Quite a comprehensive guide to how you can actually get out on track yourself, whether that's in the open sessions, the parade, or actually in our passenger laps as well. And yeah, there's loads of other bits. So kind of anything you want to know about JDM Combe, head to the website and head to the news section, and there'll be something there to give you the info.
Yeah, I'm just going to very quickly add that. So jump along to castlecombecircuit.co.uk/JDM Combe-Action-Day-2025. And you can find out all the information. You got the VIP Paddock Club, of course, available, all sorts of things, and all the things that they're on trade. You full on the trade side of thing, if anybody was thinking of that side of things?
I think there is a little bit of space left. So yeah, if you are still wanting to attend, if you get in touch with the team, they'll probably be able to squeeze you in. But yeah, possibly not for a massive space. Okay,
all right, that's just fine. I was just suddenly thinking of that one. So Saturday, 31st of May, JDM Combe, and it is start arriving quite early on the day, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, we saw it with Spring Action Day, which was completely rammed. The earlier you get there, the sooner you're going to get in, because it is a case of kind of from 7 to about 10, there's just a constant stream of people trying to get in, and there's so many people that want to come to the event that it does get quite busy during that time. Since Spring Action Day, the team have actually redeveloped the quarry car park, which is where most of the customers will be going into. So it's kind of redesigned so that you can drive into the car park, park up, get out of your car, and then go through the ticket booths. So get your tickets, or to show your tickets that you've already got. So what that means is everyone can get in off the road, out of the cars, and then deal with getting through the ticket booths, rather than at the minute you kind of have to do that before you even get into the car park.
Nice.
So anyone that's been before is familiar with the challenges. Then as soon as it gets busy, it gets quite queued up on the roads, and then that limits how many people can then get to the other entrances as well. So yeah, we're hoping that this really makes a big difference to it being a lot smoother for customers actually getting in there on the day.
Brilliant. I just happened to see that as I scrolled down the page and I was about to mention that because I know that was a bone in contention. A victim of his own success, is fair to say, isn't it?
Yeah. Essentially, we'd rather have too many people trying to get in than not enough. But it's meant that we've had to take that on board and look at how we can improve and how we can facilitate the popularity that the action days have now.
Exactly. Also, make sure you got your e-ticket available, new food stall options available for the day as well. So there's all sorts of news like that you can see. I'm going to move on to. Is there anything else that we need to say about the action day?
No, I don't think so. I think we've covered everything there.
Okay. The only reason why I say that is that, bless him, one of our next guests did actually message me to say that if his RNLI pager goes off, he's got to go.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
We're kind of hope for more than just the reason of this being on. We're hoping that the pager doesn't go off, obviously, and this is a family of RNLI volunteers as well that we're going to be getting on in a moment. A great opportunity to speak to father and son that go racing at Castle Combe. But before we bring them on, just quickly, because I'm going to then obviously let you go, Max, as well, is to just quickly preview the May Day Madness race day, bank holiday Monday. It feels like ages, doesn't it, since the last one?
It does, and I think that's normally the race, the early race days in the season are on all the bank holiday Mondays. This year it's changed around a little bit, so we haven't had one since Easter, basically. So yeah, this is going to be round 2 of the Castle Combe Racing Club Championship. We obviously got the 4 CCRC series, the Motor Formula Fords, the South Cerney Engineering Saloon Car Championship, Avon Tuning GTE Car Championship, and the Hot Hatch Championship, which as of today is now the Nankang Tyres Hot Hatch Championship. So that's an exclusive announcement which we'll be putting out across the website and socials in the next few days. Anyone that's been to the circuit recently will have seen the bridge, and that's completely changed with the new Nankang branding. So yeah, they're really getting involved in the circuit and really keen to work with us more as well. So yeah, that's a little new bit.
Nice. You didn't tell me we would have an exclusive there, mate. I'm chuffed with
Well,
that.
it wasn't confirmed until fairly late this afternoon, so I thought I'd just throw that in.
Fair play.
And then we've got the 750 Motor Club bringing some guest series as well. So I think it's the Toyo Tires Mazda Championship and the Nankang Sports 1000 Championship, I believe.
And the Formula V Championship as well.
Okay. Nice.
3 different things that will be there.
So yeah, there's going to be plenty of racing action on to fit into one day. It's going to be quite busy, which is what we want.
Will. Yeah, absolutely. Again, the advanced tickets are open till the Sunday.
That's a good question. I will double check on that, and I'll drop a comment in after I've left the show, because I'll need to double check it. I have a feeling that they might go off sale on Friday.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll double check on that after this, and I'll drop a comment in.
It's one of the beauties of the e-ticketing, isn't it? Is that it was enabled it to go a lot later than when things had to be posted out. That's
it used to be kind of a week before that we'd stop doing advanced tickets, which is obviously annoying, because a lot of people will be looking at the weather, for example, and sort of other factors that mean that you don't necessarily want to buy a ticket until the week of the event. And up until last year, really, you couldn't. So yeah, it's a lot more convenient for people, and it means they can make that saving on the avoiding the extra charge for the on the gate tickets. Admission and the hospitality tickets are still available at the moment. I will as soon as I'm off here, I'll double check when the final deadline is for those, and I'll drop a comment in so no one gets caught out. Yeah,
you can do it when I put you to the off the backstage while it's down uploading everything. You can look, but just to confirm, if you buy it in advance, it's £18 for the ticket. General admission on the day is £23, so it does save you a £5. So it's well worth doing. Get on there, get it done. Under 16s, 16 and under to be more precise, free of charge, which I still think is fabulous. A great way to do it, as long as they're with an adult. I think that's right for more reasons than one. So book your tickets online, castlecombecircuit.co.uk. Go to the May Day Madness race day, and you'll be able to book that as well. Anything happening on the day other than the racing? I can't remember now.
No, I think it's just a really packed schedule of a lot of racing. So there won't be much time for anything else, I don't think.
Agreed, and the timetable is up on there. You can see that as well. Qualifying starts at 8:30. 3 races before the lunch break, which start at 11:30. And we've got the Formula Ford 1600s of the grid walk at lunchtime, as long as we get time. It's only a 30-minute lunch break. And if there's any delays, we might not do. I think I'm doing a Radio Wiltshire interview at like 10 to 9 in the morning as well, to sort of like get everybody excited and in the mood from the circuit, which will be good. All that all publicity is good publicity, eh, mate?
Definitely.
Okay, I think that covers it from the publicising of the day. If you go on to ccracingclub.co.uk, the entry lists are there. It's always a weird one, the bank holiday one, because the entry lists are up quite early, and the reality is they will grow from what's on there, because we'll get late entries and they'll go up on the bulletin board as late entries or amendments to program and all that sort of stuff. But they need to get the program printed and all those sorts of things. So that really launches us into this race day, I think, Max, doesn't it?
I think so. I'm looking forward to it.
Fabulous. Well, Max, I'm going to let you go now. And I'm absolutely delighted to say I'm going to be bringing out our guests next, which are father and son. One of them's also a champion and a boy band member in my books. It is the Good family. We're going to bring out now Roger and Mike Good. Max, thanks, mate. We'll speak to you soon.
Thank you for having me.
Gentlemen, let me move that around so that I've got you two together up there. Welcome. Thank you for your patience, guys.
Good evening.
You all right?
Yeah, all good.
Right, we got to now hope that we don't get a pager. And that's you, Mike, isn't it? But I'm just going to pick up. I was going to say, but could your pager go off as well, Roger?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, mine will go. Well, both of them will go off. So, yeah. But the good thing about it, I can't go because I'm looking after my wife at the moment, who's just had a new knee.
Right.
So I'm
Best
grounded.
Wishes to Mrs. Good then. Listen.
Yes.
And I will just quickly pick up on that, guys, because I know about all of this, but not everybody that watches you guys race will know. And Roger, I'll turn to you first of all, because I think it's you that was doing this first, wasn't it? It was the RNLI.
Yes, I'm actually been doing it. I think next year will be my 40th year. So wow. I have been doing it a while. Yeah, I'm one of my deputy second coxswain. So I'm allowed to drive the boat. So
oh wow, blimey.
Quite exciting, yes.
And from where?
We're in Torbay, based in Torbay. The boat's based in Brixham, where we both live. So we're just down the road from the boathouse. The pager goes off. We have to turn up and hopefully turn up within sort of 3 minutes, something like that.
Wow.
And the boat's usually gone to sea within 12 minutes. So that can be inshore or the big boat.
Presumably you're not on call the whole time. There's like different groups at different times, is there?
You're on call. You're all volunteers. You have a paid coxswain and a mechanic who are full time, so they're at the boathouse most of the daytime. The rest of the crew are all volunteers, so they respond when the pager goes off. If you're available to go, you go. But the idea is that you always turn up just to make sure that the boat can go to sea, because you need helpers shoreside to get the boat going to sea, both big boat and inshore boat. So you need a little bit of a backup crew just to get the boat to sea.
Is your boat one that has to go down a scary ass ramp?
No, unfortunately not. We're very lucky. The inshore boat goes with a tractor and little trailer, just drops down into the water. But the ALB is afloat, and we just basically walk out of the boathouse, down a pontoon, and we're on the boat. So
aren't you glad?
Very
I mean,
easy.
some of them just look loopy.
Be good to try it, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, probably.
And it's absolutely brilliant fun. It's quite an amazing feeling.
Oh,
It was many years ago in the old class lifeboats in Oakley. So going back quite a while, but we went down a slip up in North Wales, and it was absolutely amazing, absolutely brilliant. Yeah,
I love that.
Very easy from our station. Too easy sometimes.
40 years, you said, Roger, coming up, didn't you?
It'll be 40 years next year, yeah.
Right.
I think it is anyway.
Mine's only like 6 months. So
is it really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
and what's your what do you do? What's your role?
So I'm going through like a training thing, but mainly on the smaller boat, sort of the inflatable boat.
Yep.
But I do the bigger boat at the same time that Dad's on, but it's just going through all my training and all that sort of stuff. So very early days, but I still see what Dad sees, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, because obviously you've grown up with Dad doing this. Were you always destined to do this, or is it something that was only recently you've gone, oh, actually?
No, you see, I've always wanted to do it. And it's a bit like, obviously, watching sort of from a young age, him going out. And we always used to be able to see the boat sort of going out. And before Dad, where I live now, it was my grandma's house. So that used to look over the water. So you'd always see it going out. So it's always been a passion to do it, but it's just never fallen into place like it has now.
Yeah.
And obviously then COVID happened and things changed and bits and bobs. But it's sort of, it was about a year ago that I applied. And obviously you go through all that stage. But it just sort of all fell into place. But it's been a long time coming, for sure.
I do love that, because obviously I love that you put as your underneath your name boy band, because I've called you that ever since you had your, what colour was it? Day-glow yellow racing boots, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And it was, and the other half of the boy band, because I've always said Kieran Symonds was the other half of the boy band.
Yeah.
And he's involved with RNLI now as well, isn't he?
He is indeed, yeah.
He does the towing of
the tractor driver.
That's it. That's
right.
it. I love that.
He drives the tractor for both the boats at Western Super Bear, so he has quite a his job is really quite complicated. So he's we compare stories sometimes, but I'm not quite as dramatic as his stories.
Oh really? Oh crikey!
His tractor's bigger as well.
It's one of those ones that we need to make sure we keep raising money for RNLI. And I remember that I've always been bemused that they weren't funded by the government. But another one that isn't is obviously the air ambulances. And I was speaking to someone at the air ambulance that says, look, it's not all bad news that we're not funded, because what it means is that we're not answerable, or we're not susceptible to cuts of the government or whatever. Yes, they need to constantly be raising money for it, but it's that independence is actually not all bad. Is that the same for the RNLI?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the thing is with the RNLI, you see, it's a voluntary service. So you get the people that apply to go on the boat are people that want to go on the boat. They're not doing it for money. There's an awful lot of personal gain when you go out and do a job and you do something successful and you have a great outcome. It's a very personal thing where you get self-reward. There is a little bit of financial reward, but it's pennies. It might buy a pair of trousers at the end of the season, but that's it. You're not going to get rich on it.
No,
so
and
that attracts the right sort of people. You see, that's what's quite good. Getting the government involved, many people say about it should be government funded and assisted, but keeping it independent of the government gives it that little bit of more control about what you can and can't do.
Yeah,
so
it was amazing
outside of that barrier.
Yeah, and it was only literally probably within the last 12 months that the air ambulance put that to me, and I was like, oh yeah, I'd never thought. I was almost like angry inside that it was that these things weren't funded. And you kind of go, yeah, we need to keep funding it because it's amazing it's there, but it's not negative that the government don't. There's a positive side to it. So that does make sense. I mean, probably more, and we will move on to the racing, but it's great that it's like, the both of you are doing this side together first, is the RNLI stuff. Is presumably there is a lot of emotional support involved because not every story ends up happy.
There's always going to be the good and bad job in any emergency service, and in this day and age, where mental awareness is such an important factor and gets a lot more limelight than what it used to. It's certainly in the floodlights, and people are being made aware of it. And until you become involved in some sort of service whereby you're helping those type of people, you don't realise how big it is. And majority of our jobs actually are to do with mental illness. But you try and put those days aside, and you try and remember the good days. But if something does go wrong, and it you know, you will be involved in some of the sadder jobs without a doubt in your career. But there's an awful lot of backup and there's an awful lot of support, and it's surprising how much help you get from the crew as well. It's the banter, it's the friendship you build up.
It's a family.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And you can compare it, you know, going from the boat, and you can compare it to the paddock at Combe.
Yeah.
You've got that real definite family where on the track everybody's out to race. In the paddock, everybody's just gacking about, having a good time, helping each other, mending cars, lending spanners, and it's that, you know, they're very, very similar roles whereby you help each other out. And the boat is exactly the same. The bad day, you know, you come back, you always get debriefed by coxswains and senior crew. There's always help there, professional help if you need it. So there's a good backup to it, absolutely.
And Mike, and from your side, growing up with this, I would imagine there was a lot of pride in what Dad was doing, but also, as a youngster in particular, a fear.
Yeah, see, it was always a weird one. Obviously, the pride was there, knowing that he did it, and it was obviously being in Brixham is a very big part of Brixham, the boat. Yeah. So it's well known, and it was always known that Dad was quite high up on the boat. So it was always, well, that's your dad, and your dad does this. So it was always something that I thought, well, I want to follow that at the same time.
Yeah.
And obviously, I knew stories that happened and what he'd been through, and you sort of understand that's what you're going to see anyway. So it was always, I knew what I was walking into without being hit by reality, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was always something that always made me want to do it, even though you do have your good days and your bad days. And don't get me wrong, the crew, like Dad said in the paddock, are the same. It's the family and the friends that come together. You would never expect it to be that sort of way, and you don't expect that in the paddock in the same way. And it's absolutely great. And personally, I wish I'd done it years ago, but it's just obviously didn't fall right at the time. But
I guess there's also another similarity, is that those on the outside, so as you were, Mike, originally when you were young growing up, and your dad's having to go out and do those things, is that fear of what could happen to Dad. And I see it a lot with the families of you out on the circuit as well. So there's even a similarity on that side as well.
Oh, massively. It's the unknown. And we used to get a lot of phone calls to say that he'd be out all night, and there was certain dangerous jobs that he was going to. And it was always, always a risk that, I hate to say it, but would he not come home sort of thing. But it was that sort of knowing that he was trying to be safe. But then when you do come home, it was that relief that you had come home. So it was, it was always a big thing. And when we got the phone call to say that it'd be out all night, it was always more of a risk that it was a bigger job. And obviously, a few years ago now, that Dad was on Pride of Britain for a rescue that he did on a big cargo ship that was sort of sinking. And that was a big part. And that sort of, I think, changed me in wanting to do it more, even though there was more of a risk that I knew, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it is, it's a big pride, and it's always, we are very similar people in following what we both like. And it's more like brothers than it is father and son, the fact of what we get involved with. But it is, I think we've always pushed each other. Like, there's a lot of things I've done before Dad, and he's joined in, and he's done stuff and I've joined in. Yeah. So we've always had that father and son bonding of, I would say, messing around, but being serious at the same time.
Yeah. I can relate to it. Me and my dad are very, very close, like mates rather than just father and son as well. Well, on that note of what you say there, and I'm actually quite glad I don't know the answer to this, because it means I find out live here. I should know, but I can't quite remember. You said that sometimes it's you, Mike, that does it first, and Dad follows. Who did the racing first?
Well, Dad marshalled before I did, but I bit the plug and got the race car.
I thought it was. That was why I wanted to ask that. I had a feeling it was the other way around. So you were a marshal, Roger.
Again, I've been marshalling for about, getting on for 40 years again. So I've marshalled at Thruxton, Combe, Goodwood, British Grand Prix, Pembury. So I've been doing it an awful long time, and it was me. I've always been interested in motorsport, from a very early age, and the cars of the 70s and the atmosphere and the racing that was in the 70s onwards was absolutely it just blew me apart. I was so mesmerised by it. So I've always loved motorsport, watching it on TV, and then I was up in London one year, and on the way back from doing a job, and I drove past Thruxton. I thought, I'm going to pop in there. So I popped into Thruxton and spoke, about how to get into marshalling, and that was it. The following weekend, I went up for a training day, and that was, getting on for 40 years ago. So yes, I've been doing an awful lot, and then by doing that, you see, and then Michael was growing up, and he sort of showed an interest in cars, and he used to come up with me as well. And he, bless him, he used to, as a child, about, I don't know, I can't remember how old he was. He's probably only about 10 years old, but he would sit on the bank. We'd go up, we'd leave home nice and early in the morning, go up, I'd marshal, I'd put him on the bank, and he'd have his own little tent, and he'd watch the day's racing. So he was involved at a very, very young age. Grew to like it, enjoyed it, wanted to get involved. And then he went into the paddock. He marshalled in the paddock when he was 16. 17, he went out on the bank and joined me, live side track. So yeah, he's always been involved at a young age. So and liked it, but yeah, the motor racing career was down to him. He had this idea.
And what age
and
was
I was
that,
easily
Mike?
persuaded.
This is my 10th year, so I've been racing Combe for 10 years now.
Wow.
So yeah, I bid it quite late, but we did, before obviously racing, we did off-road through the mud. So that was where it all started. So we did the marshalling. I got into my off-roading when I was 13, and then sort of, I wouldn't say Dad got the bug, but he did try and beat me a few times on different sections.
I did once. I nailed him.
But yeah, it's just grown from there, and obviously then, yeah, sort of, what was it, 22, I bit the bug to go racing and bought obviously Dave Rose's championship Lupo at the time. Back in the day, that was.
Blimey, so, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course it was. I'd forgotten it was that first, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and I mean, that was a hell of a car to get, really, wasn't it? Because that had won the championship.
Yeah, and then it just didn't like us at all. So yeah, it just broke down constantly for us. So
the joys
car
of
we didn't like.
motor racing. Yeah, joys of motor racing. Yeah, I'm glad I just brought it all back for you there.
I'll start crying in a minute.
Yeah. So at the beginning, then it was Mike. You were racing, and Roger. Were you just there supporting at this stage?
Michael started racing, so it was obvious. I'm an ex-mechanic anyway, so it was obvious. So I'd pick up the tools and start helping him, at meetings, preparing the car and stuff like that. So I'd still marshal. I was still marshalling at the time, but I wouldn't marshal at Combe because I'd be in the paddock helping Mike out and getting the cars ready and getting everything sorted. And father, but also sort of chief mechanic, I guess. So which was good, which got me onto the other side of the fence. Really, it showed me the other side, which I was starting to get into. And then the story with this one is that obviously Michael bought Dave Rose's car, which he raced for a couple of years. Then he bought Russell Humphrey's.
No, I didn't. I bought Steve Sutton's 106 first.
Oh yeah, that's it. The 106, yeah. But the 106, you see, he bought me that as a Father's Day present. So we got rid of the. Well, that's right. We still had the Lupo, but I run that one for a while, and then he decided to sell it. So that's when I took over the Lupo and ran that as well. But the Lupo was just of an expensive. It was a good little car, but it was just getting the horsepower that we wanted. It was just absolutely killing the engine every time. Mm-hmm. So we decided to have to sell it.
So you hadn't raced at this point, no? You were still running him.
So when I got the 106, that's when Dad started racing.
Right.
And then I bought, obviously, Russell Porter Brown's old Corsa, which is my Corsa now.
Which also won the championship.
Yeah. So as you can see, I've got like a little tendency of buying championship cars. But we had 3 cars, and that's why we decided, obviously, I'd race the Corsa, but which car would we carry on developing? And it sort of turned out we were going to do the Lupo, which, hindsight is, we probably went the wrong way, and we should have developed the 106. So we sold 1 car because obviously 3 cars for 2 people just seemed quite silly. So, so we sold the 106, and obviously then Dad carried on racing the Lupo, and then obviously I started off and racing the Corsa. So, yeah.
Makes sense. And then what made you change to the Fiesta then, Roger?
Try and beat me, probably.
Wayne Paul messaged me, or put it out that this the Fiesta was out on the market, and we knew it was coming up, and it was a very race proven ready car, and we were having trouble with the Lupo, and that it was time for that to go. So went and saw the Fiesta that Wayne had up countries up in Gloucester. Somebody had it, and I thought, this is a forward step without a doubt. So ended up buying that. Couldn't actually get in it properly. It was Jason Cooper who had it previously. He built the car for himself. Weight, height, everything, and I'm a lot taller than him, and it was a right old struggle. So it stayed in the garage for a while in the workshop, and then we took it out. The first meeting I had was at Brands Hatch. Totally new car to me. First time I'd raced at Brands Hatch. First time I'd raced in the car. So it was a real sort of eye opener.
Was that the Saloon Car Championship when we did the away day?
The away round, yeah.
Oh wow!
We did a visiting day to Brands Hatch,
yeah.
So that's when I sort of realised that we could do something with this. So there wasn't an awful lot of development to be had on the car. We just had to basically change a few things around. I had to change a seat around so I could sit in it properly and actually not touch the steering wheel with my chest. But we got there, and it's near, it's not far off it now. There's a few more things to do on it yet. Mainly the engine. We need a decent engine at the moment. So
because isn't it a stock engine now? Isn't it
eBay special?
Is it?
Is it? Well, this is the third season. Third season. I've run a stock engine, and it's an eBay special. It was, I think this engine cost me 150 quid.
Oh wow!
So it's an absolutely standard 1400 engine. Absolutely no mods to it at all.
Yeah.
Straight cut gearbox, base gearbox, but that's all. So I've been promised this engine, you see. So I'm about a month away from it.
Oh really?
So I'm hoping that we can get it ready for the June meeting. That's what I'd like to think.
That would be cool. And Mike, I have to say is that I can imagine you're looking forward to it, because I remember, I can't remember whether I spoke to you or interviewed you, but certainly you and I caught up post a race where the two of you were having a great tussle back and forth, and you were almost emotional that was your favourite time in your life ever. That you
I still remember like it was yesterday.
Yeah. And so you're hoping that this is going to work with the engine, because you would bring those days back again.
Yeah, I would. Obviously, I don't want him to beat me, so I've got to play it quite cool. But no, I've always, you'll see me on qualifying. I always slow down to try and even us out together. There's a lot of pride of being there together, because there's not many father and sons that get that opportunity. So you'll find I'll put my time in, and then I'll really back off on the qualifying to see if we can be together, because the photos mean a lot of us being on track together. And obviously, a lot of times I'll just overtake him and you'll try and get pictures that way. But it's more, to me, it's more of trying to make the memories together than it is to try and beat him. Obviously, it's great fun to beat him, and I'm hoping he will try and beat me when he's got this engine in. But yeah, it's, I like the camaraderie at the same time of, well, I know I'm going to beat him, but am I going to beat him when he's got his new engine in? So it's.
I know that I can sort of compete in the corners, but the power coming out of the corners and the actual I think it's 112 I can get going into quarry, and that's as fast as I can get the car to go at the moment. So
Wow.
it's extremely slow. You know, if you think from camp corner up to quarry corner, and 112 is as fast as you could go, it's way off the pace. But cornering, we're there. You know, there's no doubt about it. So if we can put a little bit more power under the bonnet, those straights should be a little bit easier and a little bit more interesting for us. And the idea is to put a little bit of paint on the back of Michael's car.
I like that. There's fighting words. I like that.
We still try that now, even without any power.
love tap. That's what he's going for.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's another car in front, isn't it? So you know, the idea is to get in front. So yes, I'm not worried about touching his bumper. Nick Midland said to me a few years ago that I said I was going to tap him up the on the bumper. And he says, "What are you going to do? Sort of drive the car into him, going up to scrutineering?"
Yeah, that's just harsh.
That's camaraderie. Yeah, that's typical, paddock banter, isn't it? So
100%. And we were talking about emotion there. I've forgotten the year. What year did you win the championship, Mike?
23.
23.
Even I forgot. I had to look up on the wall picture.
I should have known because but just time flies, doesn't it? 2023. And I mean, Mike, the emotion must have been huge because wasn't it the year before that you were close to it?
Yeah, so I lost that by a couple of points.
Yeah. So to secure it in 2023.
Yeah.
What was that like when you got that secured emotionally?
It was obviously I thought I was close because it was very to the wire on the race before. And it was trying to jiggle the numbers to see whether it was or wasn't. But it was that kind of, I've raced all these years and we've had this so much sort of things go wrong and you get close and then you're not close. And to finally get it, it was like sort of that bucket list tick. You've done it. You've got what you wanted. And yeah, it was a great feeling. And then I think the year I won it, I think if I'm right, Dad's points were very close as well. So we would sort of finish very close. So it made it a bit more special at the same time.
Yeah, I bet.
So I know it was. I think Dad finished second in the class. So yeah, it was. It sort of made that extra special at the same time. So 2023 was quite a good year. So yeah, it would be quite nice to repeat it, but it's down to how reliable and numbers at the same time. So
there is a luck involved as well, isn't there, in terms of the fact that how reliable everything is. But Roger, what was your emotions like when the lad won the championship?
Well, I knew that. Obviously, knew that it was dependent on the first race of the last meeting. So I knew that. I'd said to him beforehand. I said, just bring it home. Don't just get your points. Don't dabble. Don't mess it about. And I know what he's like. You see, because he gets behind the wheel and he'll just go for it. You race. It's automatic.
Yeah.
And I remember, he did pass me. He lapped me, and I thought, oh God, be careful.
Steady. Yeah. Stroke it home.
Yeah, that's it. And I can't remember if I tried sort of, waiting for him to sort of, I knew that he'd finished because he wasn't out. He hadn't broken down. He wasn't out on track. He hadn't, parked up anywhere. So I knew he'd finished. And I was waiting for him to sort of come up and, we could sort of celebrate together. But I can't remember if we actually went across the line together or not. But I know we were sort of
There was one picture we went across the line together, but I don't know which year it was.
Yeah, I don't think it was that year. I think we were far enough apart on the circuit not to without me slowing down to crawling speed. I don't think I could slow down enough for him to catch me up. But in the paddock, we knew what happened, and it was a great feeling. But I was more emotional on at the end of season awards. That's when it really sort of struck home.
Really,
that he'd actually won the championship. You can do all the laughing and joking, and there's so many people about, but the awards the awards evening was just absolutely, you talk, because you announced it, and the championship winner is Michael Good, and you think, bloody hell, this really is it, And
He's done it, yeah.
I had to fight back a little tear, actually. Luckily, Guinness got in the way, so it was okay.
Well, and we see it a lot. I mean, because not Dad and Lad Racing, but Dad and Lad very much involved, is that when Jake Alden won the Hot Hatch Championship last year at the awards, Carl Alden was very emotional. There's no question about it, and he didn't hide it at all. And that's what I think is lovely to be bringing to life in this show, is to sort of see that this is how much it means. It's great fun. You were talking about the camaraderie in the paddock. And I know people that come back because they miss that more than the racing, but to share the emotions out there on the circuit in a very exciting championship, the Castle Combe Saloon Car Championship, with what is always a bumper crowd all around the circuit. I mean, it's almost fiction, isn't it? It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, you say about Jake and Carl. I mean, that is a very close partnership there. A very close team. And they work really well together. And I think, Mike and I are, very similar on that sort of way. We support each other. Okay, I'll go out on track. But the support each of us gives in the paddock, he'll do my tire pressures. I'll do his tire pressure. I'll talk him up. We'll top the fuels up. We'll check the levels.
Actually, wait there. What did you do last race? Dad didn't put enough fuel on my car. I broke down on the last lap. So the car just made it over the line.
Somehow, haven't I?
Yeah, you did say you wanted to win. Yeah, okay, it's got like that now.
Sabotage
I was half too much in there.
I love that. Yeah, it's got that competitive already. He's not waiting for his engine. He's competing already.
Just trying to make it break down instead.
Got to win somehow. If I can cheat.
I do love that. And I mean, Mike, I think initially once you'd won that championship, I got the impression for a little while it was kind of like, oh, I've done it, and you didn't. Did you even take a year out? I think you did, didn't you? Or was it part of a year out?
I didn't take. I don't think I took any time out. I wasn't sure whether to race again.
Yeah, I know.
Hard about it.
Yeah, but
it was very late in making the decision of racing again. So
yeah, because
I think it was about 3 weeks before that I actually made the decision that I was going to come back out.
Yeah,
and I think it was more because obviously at the time I'd got the sort of thing with club racing as well going on. So it was sort of the partnership brought in that way. So it was sort of not I had to race, but it was more sort of guidance to race. And obviously then with Dad coming out as well, it sort of all made sense. And this is why we're back out again this season. So.
And it's good to see the other boy band member back as well, Kieran Symonds.
I know, it's about time. 5 years that's been.
I know, isn't it? I agree.
I've been singing on my own all these 5 years.
I mean, Roger, from your perspective, if anybody was thinking of racing, what would you say to them?
Go for it. Absolutely, 100%. Just put everything aside. Just have a go. It's you get so much from it. The grief you get preparing your car the week before, and you get up there, you get into the banter of things, and the camaraderie and the friendship, and it's such that family thing, and you everybody gets involved. Whether you've raced before or you haven't, your advice is there from other people, and everybody's there to help. If you get that, don't ever sort of think that I wish I had, because you've got to go for it. If you have that sort of wish, and just go for it. Yeah, definitely. It's a great life. It's great fun. It's hard work. It's hot. It's smelly, but it's great fun. I absolutely love it. I keep on thinking, maybe I should be retiring in the next couple of years, but you get out on track, and the 20 minutes you have is absolutely great fun. It's a great 20 minutes without a doubt. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Well, and I mean, before I ask the same question to Mike, is really from your perspective as well, Roger. I'm sort of in my mind thinking, what about if there's any dads out there that are helping their son or daughter, or mums, mums or dads, sorry, my apologies, that are helping their sons or daughters racing at the moment, whether it's financially or whether it's with the tools or whatever it might be. And if they're now involved and they're starting to go, do you know what, this looks fun. It's the same thing there, isn't it? Is that go for it if you can.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I say, I've been running a stock engine for the last year. Not many people realise that, but it still gives you the same amount of buzz. Okay, you're going to be slower than everybody else, and you have to get out of the way every now and again. But in between those moments, I mean, there's nothing better than going into a corner at over 100 miles an hour and trying to get out the other end of it. And when you master it, when you get it right, and it's a great feeling to come out of a corner quick. Everybody can go into it quick, but it's coming out quick and maintaining that quick. But love it, absolutely. Yeah, mums and dads, there's no age limit really. If you can drive, just have a go. Definitely. I
agree, and it's all relative, isn't it? Because it always feels crazy quick out there, no matter what. And it's good. I mean, Mike, I'm assuming that you would be echoing the sentiments in reality.
Yeah, like obviously this is my 10th year of doing the saloons, and you go back from the beginning to now. Like, two of the lads I race with are my daughter's godfathers, so it says a lot. Wow. So one of them being Mr. Weeks, Anthony Weeks, and the other being Craig Wright. Well, obviously that started from not knowing them, if that makes sense, to a whole of this. Then you've got obviously like Nave Sutton, who in the day we are inseparable on the track and in the paddock. Like, we speak to each other daily. You think this wouldn't have come if I wasn't racing? I wouldn't have known these people. And you think, in what space of a 10-year gap of what you can achieve, the friendship and what you make from it. Like, obviously we got very friendly with Mark and Nath, obviously when they were together, and obviously Mark raced. Nath was sort of spannering for his dad and for Wayne at the same time. And we just seem to form a real bond of a friendship. And obviously sadly we lost Mark. Yeah. But the bond between me and Nath got so much stronger. And I would sort of call him more of a brother now than a race friend. And it's like we talk daily. Like, if there's something wrong, he'll ring me or whatever. It's something that you wouldn't expect to be made from a track. It's amazing of what comes from it, if that makes sense. And a lot of come from the last 10 years of being at the track. Yeah,
and I agree with that, and people know this because I try not to, if time permits, I don't like to just disappear up into commentary box. I love mixing with you guys because I love that vibe in the paddock. And I do think that that's a key thing about it. And you, for people that are watching that may be spectating, etc., get into the paddock, go and speak to these people. It is just genuinely such a family environment. And I agree with your comments with Nathan. When Mark sadly passed away and we lost another one of our saloon car champions, is that you and Nath suddenly clicked together and were running a team together and all of those kind of things. And it was very special to watch that.
Yeah, like I still run Mark's name on my visor.
Yeah.
So my helmet is still there. And like when Caroline comes along, she's always known as Mother and stuff. Which what makes it click and everything sort of comes together. Like you say, if we got approached at the paddock by sort of anybody, it just shows that we're not just on the track. We're not just these random people. We are normal people who like to interact with everybody.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we make great friends while we're doing it.
You do realise the only thing that makes it hard for me is that I'm supposed to be making a soap opera out of this in the commentary, so I make stuff up. As far as everyone else is concerned, there's fights, there's threats, there's everything going on. But I've got to, dramatise it some way.
do we need to start that now, do we?
Absolutely. It's got to be. Thank you. The current Mrs. Dawes just
we'd be laughing too much if we tried anything like that.
Yeah. See, apparently this even came from the spirit of Castle Combe, is that, it's even got engraving on this. Apparently I drink gin.
That was empty just a second ago.
I know, Mr. Current Mrs. Dawes just bought me a new one. So, what does the? I mean, I've got to just quickly. I know what I haven't done is that there's apologies, everybody. There's been loads of comments coming in. And it's just literally all the conversations have been so enthralling that I haven't had chance to. If I can try and catch up with a couple that are relevant to you, let me go back. Oh, by the way, Max Symonds confirmed that the advanced admission for Bank Holiday Monday are available up until Sunday online. So it is that. So that's fine. Justin Holloway says he reckons that Wayne Rushworth could qualify for the boy band too based on his shoe colour choice. I haven't seen that. What's his shoe colour choice?
His favourite colour is purple, isn't it? Have you seen all the social media? He keeps changing my car to purple.
Yes, I have seen that. Good point. Ben Hayward, great to hear you are out racing as well with Wayne Paul's Mini. That's brilliant to hear, Ben. And he says, absolute respect to you both for this spot on. And that was when we were talking about the RNLI side of things. And equally, our very own Kat, Dalocco, who obviously basically looks after us. She's a mother, our mum, isn't she? Very proud listening to you both talking about the RNLI, and I agree with that. Jamie Peters Ennis, what Roger, Mike and Kieran do for the RNLI is nothing short of inspiring. 40 years, Roger, take about. Also marshalling, absolute legends. See you Monday. Tim Perry, one of our Orange Army, says it sounds very familiar to me and getting involved with marshalling. So, Roger, your story about sort of driving past Thruxton and calling in that kind of thing. Colin Bushell says he's enjoying this.
Good old Bush, yeah. He's a good mate in the Orange Army.
Oh, good man, like to hear it. Stuart Cheeseman says the champion Mike Good, my hero. Love that one. Nathan Sutton says you can't stop yet, Roger, so you got to keep racing. He's not letting you stop. Matt Coyle, can't wait to get back to Combe on Monday. Legs are working. That's brilliant news, Matt.
That'll be good to see Matt back.
It will, mate. We obviously see in your posts, and our heart is with you all the time, mate. And you've got we were just discussing the family with that, and I've got to say, guys, is that I felt it myself when I had my heart scare when I was rushed away from the commentary box in the ambulance, and the outpouring is quite staggering, isn't it? You know, everybody is there for everybody, no matter what.
Well, it's funny you should talk about Matt, because I think Matt will back me up on this, but I was the first person to talk to Matt when he first come to the circuit. And obviously we become quite good friends. And then obviously, I don't know if you remember, I had Darkhound, which was Matt's old company, on my car for quite a few years, as sort of a support for Matt to try and get his name out there at the same time. So yeah, it goes back to that sort of friendship, support, and doing what you can for each other sort of thing.
Matt's going to get an incredible amount of hugs, quite frankly. I know it doesn't sound manly, but it will literally be hugs on the Monday, because we're there for you, Matt, and we're there for each other. That's the beautiful thing. Although saying that, it is strict as well. Caroline Sutton, Mum Sutton, says, Saloon boys, don't be late Monday.
Mother's not a word.
That's got to be terrifying. She's now a coordinator as well. You know, goodness me, you're in trouble, boys.
Can't escape it now, can we?
She's a very important lady in the background. She's a lovely lady.
Absolutely. And I love how she's chuffed that she's doing it. That's what's really cool as well. Another coordinator that's joined this year, Ben Pemberton. Evening, everyone. How do, Mr. Dawes? Great to see that you were racing at Brands Hatch when I was there on the weekend out in the Focus Cup. Although you confused us because we hadn't clocked you'd switched cars, and we saw the JCB liveried one go off at Sterling's, and we thought, oh no, Ben's gone off. And then you were still circulating on the screen, and we're like, what? So thankfully it wasn't you, mate, but be good to see you there. How's it looking for Monday? Let's wrap this one back round to Monday.
I'm racing.
That doesn't sound like you are then, Roger.
I'm home, fingers crossed. Obviously with Nick having a new knee, I'm chief carer at the moment.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that the family and can back up and just pop in for a few hours. But at the moment, it's not looking too good.
Understood. Understood.
Fingers crossed, though. If there's any possibility, I shall be there. I've spoken with Kat. Kat's very kindly arranged that if I turn up late, I could do a quick 3 laps with the hot hatches and go straight into the racing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, she
I
very
think
kindly
you know
said,
it well
if I
enough.
turn up at 10 o'clock, I can go in. Bless her. So
Yeah, I think-
great help.
You know
We'll
the circuit
see.
well enough, so we're safe on that front.
Still finds the grass though, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Hark at the man who goes into the barriers and the record sale at Quarry.
Yeah.
That was in qualifying.
It still counts.
Still off.
Yeah, exactly. But you're back as well, Mike. You're giving it some.
Yeah. See if I can. I would say try and beat someone, but if he doesn't turn up, I've got no one to beat. So, but no, my aim is I want to try and beat my lap record that I did of a 1:16. So I'm still trying to push for a quicker time. So it doesn't help when Nate Sutton gets him away, but we're still trying.
I do love it. I do love the whole gaggle that are there. Do you ever get tempted? And I'm going to probably aim this at you, Mike, because obviously you're someone who's won a championship. Do you ever get tempted with trying to get one of these crazy Class A cars and be at the full pointy end? Yeah,
so there was talks I was going to jump into one for this season. But yeah, I don't know. I really loved racing the Corsa because it's an understatement car. It's basically, I always called it the McDonald's car because you see him driving in McDonald's, but you don't usually see him racing on a track. And what it can perform on track is great. Don't get me wrong. I would love to step up into the Class A, but it impresses me so much of how quick that car is for such a small powered car that I don't really want to do the jump, if that makes sense. I have toyed with going elsewhere, and there is still talks of me jumping into a Class A car this season. So it's just the dynamics of how it should work, and we'll see what happens, really. But never say never, and things could come from this year. So, yeah, could be interesting to see.
Yeah, no, it's always interesting to hear that. Whereas, Roger, we know your one is you just want the blooming new engine in.
That's all I want, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you've also got to think about, we self-finance everything.
Yeah.
So moving up a league is, it's a big, big step. I mean, I tell Nick, my wife, that it only cost us 20 quid a weekend. So I'm happy to keep it like that.
Yeah. And he's telling the truth. He's telling the truth, honestly, right? This is now live. It's out there, Roger. So we've got it on record for you, mate.
Absolutely.
Completely safe.
Moving up a class would be great. Michael needs to because he's got the capabilities. But a lot of it is just down to money and time.
Yeah.
There's so much going on in lives that it's trying to find time to fit everything in.
But it's what I love about things like the Saloon Car Championship is that the championship can be won from anywhere in those classes. And I do agree with your comment, Mike. I almost wrap it up as a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yeah.
With the Corsa, and it's just wicked. And that sort of mid-pack is where, from a commentary perspective, kind of most of the action happens. I love all of that field. It's just so bustling, and that's what gives us most to talk about and get excited about. And as a fan as well. So
I'm sure Adam wouldn't agree from the last race when he got blocked off and ended up sky high. But
yeah, that was mad, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was all your fault, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I just blocked it by mistake.
No, it wasn't. It was an accident.
But
he was laughing about it as well.
It's just one of them, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just love the fact that someone took a picture of it, and it looks like Adam is literally sky high on top of Jack's car. So.
And he said it felt like it as well.
Yeah, I bet it did, yeah.
Tim Perry says
he should have come and had a word with me because I know how to let cars pass, you see.
Yeah. Yeah, but you'd have still love tapped him, remember?
Oh, yeah. Little nudge every now and again, yeah.
Exactly. Tim Perry says, family comes first, Roger, but hope you can make it Monday. Colin Bushell says, not on post this time. I'm up in race control because of knee trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Bless you.
Away from the new knee as well.
Quite freaky is the fact that you've posted, Roger, saying I'm watching. But obviously that's Mrs. Good that's put that one, and she's now seen the evidence. It is
It's
just
only
that's all it
£20.
costs. Yeah, that's all it
I might
costs.
up it to 25.
Well, Joe Shingler says 20 quid a weekend. I'm in. See, that's the marketing department at work right there as well. See, that's what it's all about.
See, Joe is another one of the Orange Army. You see, when I'm Marshal, I do an awful lot with Joe. Joe Shingler and Dave Wickham, Colin, Mike Major. There's a right little group of us. So
There is
good to hear from them.
I'm always within the commentary, always making sure I thank the mighty Orange Army and try to encourage people to get involved, because other than driving, you don't get any closer than the marshals. And we talk about the family in the paddock. I think the only thing that can actually be potentially stronger than that is between the marshals. Nationwide. You know, I just watch it everywhere. It is really, really special. Guys, I feel like I've got in the middle of this now because Mrs. G's now said spot on, Chris. I feel like I've got involved. Right, guys, I could talk to you forever and ever and ever. It's so lovely to hear the backstory, the RNLI stuff, the racing together, and the racing with the extended public. Again, Mike, congratulations on being champion. Let's see if you can do it again. Roger, bring on that engine, mate. Bring on that engine. I do make sure that everybody knows that this is a standard engine that's in there, because I know it bothers you, but it shouldn't.
One day it's going to be so good when it happens.
Absolutely. And I think we'll all celebrate with you, mate, because we'll know how much it means to you. But keep on the racing, keep on the spirit in the paddock, and thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thanks for having us on, mate. Thank you.
No, cheers, Chris. It's good to have you in the background. Thank you very much.
You. Thank you very much. Don't rush off anyway, because we'll just do the goodbyes to everyone else. Thank you for everyone for joining us tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. So many comments, and I apologise that there was a whole load that I didn't get to put on screen, but I hope you understand that it was more about the conversations with our guests tonight that were absolutely brilliant. We've previewed the race day that's on Bank Holiday Monday. Hope to see you plenty of you there. I shall be on what we call Combe 3, so I'll be doing the post-race interviews and whatever else reporting. We got Ian Salmon in the main box, and Clive Woodward is over on the second one. It was supposed to be Josh Barrett, but his dad's having an operation. Best of luck to Mr. Barrett Senior. And get yourself down there. JDM Combe on the following Saturday, and it will be great to see plenty of you there as well. Although I think I actually get a rare weekend off of commentating that weekend, actually. So I'm going to see my parents. We're talking about being close to our family. I get to go and see my parents for a change. Everybody, have a fabulous evening. We'll see you back at Castle Combe very soon. Gents, I'm going to put you in the back. We'll catch up off air in a second. But everybody else, cheers all.
Bye, cheers, Chris.
Cheers, Chris. Bye-bye.